Today, I'll explain why 2025 is a great year to revisit your retirement plan and why it may need a complete overhaul. Over my years helping clients plan for retirement, I've observed individuals fail to capture the real factors that determine their retirement success. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to help you navigate your retirement successfully. Let's get right into it. So why is 2025 such a great year to revisit your retirement plan? Well, first, let's start with this. When I meet with individuals and review their retirement portfolio, many portfolios I review are overly aggressive for their stage of life and their goals and needs. And what I mean by that is that there is an over allocation to equities, to stocks. And even more so, there's a lot of times there is an over allocation to US stocks, right? There is a clear home bias in many portfolios that I review. Now, if you fall in this category, to be fair, this has served you exceptionally well over the last 15 years, and that's a big reason why 2025 is a great year to revisit your retirement plan. If we look at the last 15 years of returns in the S&P 500, well, the annual return is approaching 14%, and this is clearly higher than the long-term return of 10%, going back nearly 100 years. So the last 15 years have definitely been above average. Would you expect the next 15 years to continue to be above average? What we are experiencing now may feel normal, but it's actually not, right? If we look at the long-term average of the S&P 500, it's much closer to 10%. So we've clearly outperformed above average these last 15 years. Now the question is, will you continue to expect outperformance like that over the next 15 years? And nobody knows the answer to that, but we can look at history to help us answer that question, which in my opinion, the answer to that would be, no, I would not expect US stocks to continue to outperform historical averages. If we look at the decade prior to these last 15 years, this decade from 2000 to 2010 is called the lost decade. This is a period of time where the S&P 500 had a 10-year negative return. If you know your history, you know why, because we had the dot-com crash at the beginning of that decade, and then we had the Great Recession towards the end of that decade, right? So over a 10-year period, you had negative returns in US large cap stock. During that lost decade, if you had exposure to international stocks, you were in a better financial position. The Dimensional Fund Advisors International Value Fund had an annualized return between 6 and 7% over that decade. Thinking about your future and what would you expect to happen in the stock markets? Well, we would expect a low-cost, globally diversified portfolio to keep you in a better financial position long-term, especially when you're on the stay wealthy path, right? You've worked so hard to save this money. You've been patient while compound interest has worked for you. And now you're preserving this money and needing it for income, right? And so now the question becomes, how can we update your investment plan and your income plan to align it with your current life stage and your values, goals, priorities, concerns, right? The second reason why 2025 is a great year to revisit your retirement plan and your income plan is because bond yields are much higher than they were just 3 years ago, right? You can get significantly more income from your bonds and even insurance products like annuities than you could 3 years ago, which is why this is a great time to maybe take some risk off the table and build out your income plan. Now, anytime money is in movement, there may be a tax implication. So before you make a change to your portfolio, it makes sense to review with a professional based on your unique situation and find the most tax efficient way to transition you from that get wealthy behavior to that stay wealthy behavior. And of course, that's what I do for a living, and you're welcome to schedule a complimentary call. And even if I'm not the right fit, I promise I will help you find the right person, because this is another struggle that I see. In fact, Wade Pfau says it better than me. This is a great book for retirees, the Retirement Planning Guidebook. Now, it's probably too much in the weeds for most of you. However, if you like that, it's a great place to start. Here's what he says. Too good. I have to read his words, right? So the financial services profession remains quite siloed. There is an old saying that if the only tool you have is a hammer, then everything starts to look like a nail. This tendency is alive and well within the financial services industry, as those on the investment side tend to view an investment portfolio as the solution for any problem, while those on the insurance side tend to view insurance products as the answer for every financial question. Financial advisors and other pundits tend to support the approach they feel most comfortable with or are otherwise licensed or incentivized to provide, with little consideration for what may be best for any given individual. The prevalent idea is that there is one objectively superior retirement income approach for everyone, and anyone suggesting otherwise must be guided by a conflict of interest. The reality is that there are competing viable approaches for retirement income. No one approach or retirement income product works best for everyone. There is room for nuance, and it pays to be agnostic, okay? Understanding which approach is best for any given individual means knowing more about that individual's preferences and style. A vital first step in building a retirement income plan is to first identify the style that works for you. Defining a style and matching strategies to it provides an important step forward in aligning individuals with their retirement income strategies. Okay, to thank you for staying with me up to this part of the video, I am including a free retirement income style awareness tool for you to use, so you can find exactly what your preferences and concerns are, so you can start going down the path of what your income plan should look like. Man, I can't emphasize how important this is, right? To understand your unique situation, your goals, your needs, your concerns, your preferences. It's not one size fits all. There's definitely nuance. However, because of everything that I explained prior, that US stocks have clearly outperformed in recent history, and that the income that you can get from bonds and annuities is higher than it has been in recent years, this is a phenomenal time to revisit that. If you want me to analyze your retirement numbers and show you what a personalized solution looks like, then click the first link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.